When we left off, we took our character from being an absolute scrub to an absolute beast. We invaded the Kingdom of England and successfully took it over, all in the name of reforming the Roman Empire in less than 100 years. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a hyperspeed episode. The change you're going to see with this guy in this episode is just unbelievable, where we start and where we finish. So let's just jump into where we are. I took over a little bit of France just for the fun, took over the Norman part of the country just so I had a little beachhead on the European continent. But as you'll see in this episode, the French are not the focus. We're going to be focusing elsewhere, actually getting ready to form the Roman Empire. Because if you remember, that's our goal. And we currently own 0% of the land we need to own, and we are about 20% into this run. But that's all going to change as we use the Kingdom of England as the backbone of our empire. And in order to do that, we need to fight a ton of rebellions that are going to be happening. Obviously, England is not Norse, so they're going to be super pissed that we're of a different religion. But what we're going to do is just ask a bunch of people to convert. And you see here that the guy who was leading the war actually just ended up dying. And that's one of the last rebellions I really end up facing, other than this next one that's about to pop off. It's actually kind of amazing how fast England just kind of accepts it and then just like doesn't fight back after this. But here you see I have a second rebellion pop off because the first one ended inconclusively, and we send our Viking warriors after everyone. We are extremely high in prowess and martial skill. I'm going to be super sad when this character dies because he is just an absolute freak of nature when it comes to warfare. You can see those traits I have. I have unyielding defender, I have holy warrior, I have so many advantages when it comes to warfare that throughout this playthrough, I'm not really that concerned about rebellions because this character is just so damn good. And we crush the Second English Rebellion easily. We're going to piece them out in the end and, make sure that they don't rebel ever again by just keeping literally all of them in jail. I don't have enough tribal authority to revoke their titles yet, so we're just going to leave them in jail so they can't rebel. And we're also switching gears to go after the stewardship lifestyle focus for a very specific reason. We are looking for meritocracy. That's our one goal. Our second goal is to get absolute tribal authority so we can become feudal, because we're currently making a shitload of money. And my problem this whole game has been prestige. So if I can transition my military to be being based around gold rather than prestige, that is going to be a huge advantage, because you'll see later in the game, I am just printing gold through this game. But what I'm doing here is declaring war on Croatia to get a little bit of a foothold in the Mediterranean. And side note, there's a much better reason why I'm doing this. You'll see here in a second. It's because I want to actually swear fealty to the Byzantine Empire. You can see how Lapland has grown, but it is time to bring us into the fold of this new Roman Empire, which we call the Byzantines. And here you can see me swearing fealty to him, so I can try to take the throne from the inside. That's why we're switching to the stewardship lifestyle focus, so we can get the meritocracy perk, and we can actually get a claim on the entire Byzantine Empire. So this is how we're going to go from 0% progress in forming the Roman Empire to like 50% progress in one episode. And you'll see I'm pretty far into the run at this point. Mr. Roman here, our main character, he's getting up there in age. So I need to start thinking about which son is going to succeed me, and also what is their kingdom going to look like? Am I going to be able to springboard and become an emperor before I die is really what I'm wondering, number one. Number two, I need to get, like I said, absolute tribal authority, or I'm going to continue to be tribal, and that sucks. I really would like to be feudal. Here you can see my liege immediately revoked the Essex from me, and then just gives it back for no reason. I'm not entirely sure why. But really, What I'm doing in this little interim period is farming for prestige because I'm always going to be at a deficit since my military is so huge and there's a lot of stuff I want to do with prestige. The main thing is continuing to grow my army, and the other thing, like I said, is converting to feudalism, which is going to be easy once I have absolute tribal authority. But to get there, I need something like 30,000 prestige or something like that. So the main things I'm spamming are grand weddings, hunts, and anything people invite me to. If they invite me to a feast, if they invite me to a tournament, I'm going to go. And the reason I'm going to all the tournaments is because Mr. Roman, just being the absolute fucking unit that he is, just continues to win tournaments, whether I host them or not. He is just a force of fucking nature when it comes to winning tournaments, and I love it. He's so good at it. And here I am really just trying to square up and re-gear my government so everybody's kind of geared towards espionage, because we're going to start this claim throne scheme. And oh my god, was this a absolute nightmare. I've actually did this run before a while ago, and for some reason this claim throne scheme was insanely easy. Not this time though. Holy shit. This takes so long to pop off that I was actually wondering if I was going to die before I could claim the throne, and I would actually have to like redo everything as my son. So I just kind of put that in the back of my mind. One of the things that I did was change my spouse's focus to intrigue, because that'll give you a couple more points. And later on, you'll see me do a trick where I marry off one of my courtiers to an extremely skilled espionage guy and set him as my spy master to up the odds even more. But in the meantime, we're going to kick some ass and win a couple of more tournaments just because we're fucking built diff. And in the end, when it really comes down to it, I end up having to fight my own son twice to win this tournament, and I win both times. This 50-year-old man fighting my son who has insane prowess because I trained him. We won every competition in that tournament, and you can see how blinged out we are. Oh my goodness. I am blinged out. Oh. And to absolutely nobody's surprise, I get another civil war. Somehow, even though I'm now part of the Byzantine Empire, they're trying to overthrow me for the kingdom title. They get crushed, and I just keep them in jail. Again, I can't really revoke their titles yet, so I don't know if this is a good strategy at all, but I literally just keep my vassals in jail, because if I kill them, they get a negative opinion of me. If I take their titles, they get a negative opinion, so I was like, whatever, I'll just leave them in jail and maybe they'll escape one day. But here, we get this glorious raid where we get amazing prisoners, amazing loot, and sadly, this is the last raid we're actually going to be allowed to do. So of course I directed it towards the French. Who else am I going to target? And here begins one of many times where I almost break my keyboard because this scheme keeps fucking failing so many times. I don't even know how many years I am into the scheme at this point. I get so mad after a while that I just end up firing my spy master and just marrying off one of the random people in my court to get just a better spy master so my schemes stop getting breached so often. But even getting a new spy master doesn't even work, and my scheme gets breached again, which is a huge problem because in the new update, there's only a limited amount of times that a scheme can get breached before it just fails outright. So I know I'm coming up on that point, and I really just have to roll the dice and fire the event, because I'm at the point now where if it gets breached one more time, it's just going to auto fail. So I am just going to let it tick up one more turn and then fire the scheme, and it actually works with a like 20% chance. This worked on the second try. I just couldn't believe it. It was so lucky. So now I have a claim on the entire Byzantine Empire. Because of that, my priority now is to figure out how to take it over. So here you see me scanning for any alliances I could possibly have, and I discover that the Byzantines are allied to the Holy Roman Empire. What? No! No! This is probably one of the worst things that could happen. So I go behind the emperor's back and actually marry one of my sons to the other emperor's daughter. So we do a little bit of espionage. We actually turn the Holy Roman Empire to our side. So he's locked in a conundrum when I declare war for the throne here. So he's not going to come to my aid, but the thing is, he's also not going to come to the Byzantine Empire's aid. And Bohemia's on our side, which is great. Bohemia has an absolutely fabulous military at this point, which is amazing. And halfway through me trying to siege down Constantinople here, Scotland just decides to join the war as well, which, hey, I'm not going to complain. He jumps in. My allies are complete fucking idiots, per usual, and are just on some random part of the map for I'd say most of the time we're at war here, but they do eventually show up as I'm sieging down the capital here, which we are fabulously doing here because I have such high martial skill. Now, me and the Emperor have about the same military size, but I got lucky here because my liege was caught up in a different war while I was trying to claim the throne, and here you see his other war ends. So now he is completely focused on destroying us, but it's okay. We got our allies in here, and I'm really worried about fighting this battle because the Greeks have a fantastic military, but we actually end up taking out one of the minor armies. And we annihilate it so completely that it takes up the war score to 100%. We didn't even have to fight the big climactic battle. And in fact, my liege dies in the middle of the battle. He's so stressed out about me trying to claim the throne that he literally just dies. So here it is. We are finally the Byzantine emperor. In only a small handful of years, we completely dismantled the internal structure of the Byzantines. We consecrated our bloodline, and we are going to reclaim Constantinople as our capital. And here you see the wonderful factions that are starting to rise up here. Here I'm just farming for prestige so I can get out of tribal ASAP. So again, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I just spam kingdoms. I just spam make a shitload of kingdoms because now Constantinople is tribal, which is not what we want. But in the end, my character is so powerful, I don't even know what happens. You saw how big that claimant faction was, and it just disappeared. I think I have such a high legitimacy and such high prestige because I've been farming prestige that, I don't know, the faction just disbanded without me really doing anything, which is awesome. So I take that opportunity to immediately declare war on the Pope. And we siege that shit down, no problemo at all. I don't even think a lot of allies came to his help. Like, nobody really cared about this. Usually when I attack the Pope, everybody's all up in arms and there's a huge fucking army facing me, but I don't know. This time everybody was just kind of cool with it. They're like, you know what? Byzantine emperor, he's just doing Byzantine things. He's got the vision of Justinian in his heart. And here we go. Reconquered. The first pop-up we get for restoring the Roman Empire. We are on our way, ladies and gentlemen. We started out the episode with 0 Roman territories. And here we control New Rome and Old Rome. I also inherited a couple of wars from my liege, just weird border disputes. You can see this one here, I don't really want to fight him, so I just surrender. I don't really care about that land, so he can have it. I'm not going to take my troops all the way over there. But here we get Justinian's dream pop up, and let's hope our rule goes a little bit better than his. But so far so good. The internal stability is like unbelievable, and now we actually get to restore the Roman Empire decision. I've never ever had this in one of my playthroughs. I was so happy when I saw this. Now the thing is, that actually doesn't pop up because we're still tribal. We need to feudalize before I can see the decision here in the sidebar. But we are very, very close to feudalizing, so I'm not that worried about it right now. Now, one way I'm going to fight factions is asking people to convert, because in Christianity, same faith opinion means a lot. So a lot of these people are Orthodox, or they're the Norse religion that I had before that I asked to convert. And, you know, people are going to ask for a lot of hooks on me, and I'm okay with it. Number one, I'm old, and number two, I don't really care. It's the beginning of my empire. I'm not that worried about my counselor's abilities just yet. I'm not really trying to min-max that much. I care more about not having to fight constant rebellions, and making everybody Catholic is a huge way to be able to do that. So I'm asking people to convert. They're going to ask for a hook, and I'm just going to accept most of the time. And here we finally feudalize, and the decision actually pops up for the first time in one of my games. I can actually see the goal on screen. And now the conquest really begins. And just as a cute little side note, I got this decision exactly 50 years into the 100-year playthrough. I just thought that was so cool. I just love that so much. But you can see me here just really doing a lot of micromanaging to really try to not get these people to rebel. I need to give out territories to preferably loyal people. I need to up my military, make sure that my court is in order. And this is the guy this guy has a claim on the Byzantine Empire. And he thinks I'm so badass. He actually came to bend the knee. It's just crazy. I don't know why this character is so powerful, but to celebrate, I decide to invade Egypt just to get a head start here. And that is exactly what we end up doing. My army is enormous at this point, and you can't see it now, but my monthly income is enormous at this point because Constantinople is such a powerful holding to have. And I have Rome and Constantinople at this point. So the difference, and I know I keep saying it, but I couldn't believe the change in this character that only like 50 years made. I mean, I started up in a little tiny county in Scandinavia, and before I knew it, I have, a huge chunk of the Roman Empire restored. And here we are. We are in a wonderful place. We're old, but we're going to transition back into a different lifestyle to try to get whole of body so we can live even longer. Our sons are super overpowered, so I'm not even that worried about succession. And I'm thinking we're actually going to be able to do it. So tune in next time. When we actually get to restore the Roman Empire, I don't care how long it takes. The next episode is going to be the final episode. No matter how many tries it takes me, no matter how long the video is, the next one is final. This has been so fun. Like and subscribe if you like this video and you dig this channel, and I'll see you guys next time.